Welcome back to Final Fantasy Ultra Champion Edition. We have just finished the Gurgru Volcano, and we have rested up and healed up at Crescent Lake. We've picked up a couple of extra things, but not too much since we last got together. The next goal is to tackle the Desert Cave, and that's where we're going to find the legendary floater, which of course is found normally in the Ice Cave in Final Fantasy I. The desert here, oddly, has no battle tiles in it, although we will later find out that there are some battle tiles on the green space surrounding the desert. But for now, we are in the Desert Cave. This is an entirely new cave system in the Final Fantasy Ultra ROM hack of Final Fantasy I. The first battle we run into is a battle of rogues and sandhags. They are kind of a totally new enemy based on the sea hags. 6720 gold in this first chest. They're based on the sea hags, and they have an interesting little attack called Gale, I think it is, and it's kind of like a sand attack, like from Pokemon. So it's interesting because your normal shield attack or your shield spell does not protect from it. Meanwhile, we are here fighting the Magitech, and when you are in Final Fantasy I and you see this particular sprite, no matter what the color scheme is on this particular sprite, you know you are in big trouble. There's Bolt Beam, and so definitely a reference to Final Fantasy VI and the Magitech armor. We've got Bolt Beam right away, takes out Esper, over 400 damage from Bolt Beam. Now, I am hoping to goodness that this battle with the Magitech armor is a rare battle. I'm hoping this is maybe battle number 7 or 8, or battle formation 7 or 8 in this particular hack, and maybe I've just gotten an unlucky battle formation to get in a fight with the Magitech armor. So we're going to see what we can do. With Esper gone, my tank is out of there. We've got haste on our Viking. Shield 2 in case any physical attacks come in, although if it is a Magitech armor, I'm expecting it to have a lot of elemental stuff coming in. I did not quite get our wall spell off quick enough to protect Esper from that Bolt Beam on round 1. So yikes on that, but 6 hits, you're almost always going to get at least one critical when you've got 6 hits from an axe in this game. Without a comprehensive readme or a comprehensive FAQ on this one, I can't tell you exactly what the crit rate of the various axes are in this game, but I do know that they do have a higher crit rate than do the hammers, which of course just makes sense. Bladed edged weapons, of course, would have a higher crit rate than blunt edged weapons, and blunt edged weapons, of course, if you remember, have the advantage against undead. We're still battling the Magitech armor here, but we are pretty well protected. Here's Comet, much better damage from Comet, so it looks like maybe it's not weak against bolt damage, or either that or Comet is just that strong. Now, I assume Comet is non-elemental, although I'm not entirely sure about that. I think Dark is a new element in this hack, although again, without a complete readme or a complete FAQ of this game, I can't tell you for sure, but I think some of the spells are listed as being darkness damage, like Galaxy, which is one of the choices at level 6 magic I think you can pick up, or level 5 magic you can pick up. So we may have a new element in darkness, but there is also non-elemental stuff, which is why, by the way, in the original game, some of these sorcerers' physical attacks, which have the death touch ability. So there is a battle on one of the green squares on the desert. They have the death touch ability, and that is a non-elemental death attack. So if you have a ribbon on which protects you against death element, i.e. rub, etc., it does not protect you against the sorcerer's death touch attacks. But again, it is tough to tell what that could be in this game. So after beating the Magitech armor and having a dead paladin in our ranks, we are going to head back to Crescent Lake to heal up and see what we can do. I wanted to fight that battle with the Magitech armor just to show you what that looked like, and it was a surprise for me, I have to say, running into that one. So I was hoping to just have a quick crawl of the Desert Cave, but it will not be the case, so I'll use my life spell to bring him back to life, a Cure 3 spell to heal him up. I'll have to put him back up. Although the T-Hawk, my cleric, is a pretty good first row tank with the ability to equip scale mail and shields. almost as good as the Paladin. Now I'm fighting this battle with the Kaizokus, mostly just to pay the bill at the inn, because the inn is going to cost 200 gold here in Crescent Lake, so this will pay off a little bit more than that. This will help pay for that inn stay, and I've got a couple of chests with over 6,000 gold, so very, very important, very little on experience. I am level 16 now at this point. I'm going to fight this battle with the bulls and the cobras again. This will also pay for the inn bill. But in a game like this, a hack like this, where both gold and experience are at a big premium, it is important that you take every opportunity to gain a little bit of both. I've got silver equipment right now, and I'm getting close to about 70,000 gold in the bank, which I'm hoping is going to be good going to the next town. After I pick up the airship after this cave, I am going to go back and fill out some of my spell lists from earlier in the game. I'm going to buy some of the spells that I didn't pick up before just to save some money. But then who knows what the set of armor and weapons will cost at the next town. Going by traditional RPG conventions, we've got silver stuff now. I'm going to put in a guess, this is an INB4 guess, that the next set of equipment is going to be gold equipment, although who knows, could be mithril equipment, could be platinum equipment, could be opal equipment, which in the vanilla version, the top level armor is the opal set of armor. Here's a Tyro, which you normally don't run into in the vanilla version until much later in the game. Usually in the northern continent, you'll run into the T-Rex and Tyro type enemies in the, I believe it's in the upper desert where you would find the Oasis. Or maybe the Mirage Tower, but there are a couple of dinosaurs in this game. The Tyro and also the Ankylos, which I believe are supposed to be references to the Ankylosaur type dinosaurs, one of my favorite childhood dinosaurs. Here's another battle with the Rogues and the Sand Hags. Now the Rogues in the Gurglu Volcano almost always hit us with a back attack. Now we are a level up from that, or 2 levels up from that, from the first crawl of the volcano. So I'm noticing fewer back attacks from the rogue type battles, but still more back attacks than you would expect from most battles. And when paired with the Sand Hags, which can target you with that little gale or gust attack that they can hit you with, that kind of sand attack, it is gale, sorry about that, you can take a pretty significant amount of damage in a couple of rounds when you've got 5 or 6 Sand Hags and a couple of Rogues. The Sand Hags are susceptible to ice magic, but I'm trying to save all of my magic for what's going to come at the end of this this desert dungeon, the Sand Dungeon. I understand this is a shorter dungeon, and it's going to house the floater for us. So we are going to save as much juice as we can, I should say, both in terms of offensive power and of defensive healing as we can for the end of this dungeon when it pops up for us. So we are going to be escaping this one with Esper up there at the front taking the brunt of the damage. It's not too bad, although it is concerning to see the Sand Hags using a single targeting magic attack in lieu of a physical attack, because our armor is not going to protect us from that ability. And if that is any indication of what's to come in future dungeons, I am a little bit concerned that our armor set is not going to hold up against large groups of enemies that are going to get a lot of back attacks and have a non-physical single targeting attack, or even non-physical multi-targeting attack that's going to bring us up. Now we've got a chest surrounded by robot tiles. Now those robots look suspiciously like the robot you meet in the waterfall cave. That's the robot, I believe, that was built by the Lefianish people that you meet in the waterfall cave, who gives you the cube that lets you warp. It's a little bit too much to go into now. If we're going to break down the storyline of FF1, we could be here all day arguing about whether or not the time loop really means anything. So we've got some signs, though. By the way, the music in this desert cave has been that of the Sky Palace, and the tiles, the tile set has also been that of the Sky Palace. So we're to believe that this is, I believe narratively, by the way, here's a battle with the Eye and a few undead. The eye is normally guarding the floater in the ice cave, by the way. But if we're to kind of narrative put this together, this would be, I think, the Latvianish maybe built this cave as they built the Sky Palace, and put the floater in the bottom of this cave, because we have the music cueing us in to the Latvianish connection, and also the dungeon tiles, although we have sand surrounding it. But the dungeon tiles definitely suggest futuristic Latvianish technology, and the robots at the end really kind of cement that in for me. So with the eye gone here after a Fire 3 and a big attack from my Viking, it's just going to be cleaning up the undead here, and I'm going to try to save as much in the tank as I can, because running into an eye 2 tiles in front of the chest makes me a little bit suspicious that this is not the end of the road. And also I'm curious as to whether or not the eye would be a regularly scheduled random battle. I suspect not. So I'm going to try to save as much magic juice as I can here for the rest of this fight with the undead, using first level spells and relying on the hammer's ability to inflict critical damage on the humanoid type undead. I do not believe the hammer can inflict the critical hits on the wraith or specter type undeads. As you can see, they're the ghostly type undeads. I haven't tested that for a while, but meanwhile I'm just targeting the humanoid type undead with my hammers as much as I can. That's why I'm having Sulla the Viking attack the wraith there. So the axe attack goes to the ghost, the hammer attacks can go to the specters, where they're going to do the most damage. And I'm trying to save my healing and my offensive spells for what may be coming next, and I'm not sure what that is. Now the Wraith, as you would expect a Wraith to have, seems to have pretty high evasion. A lot of my hammer attacks were just missing, so the fire attacks were doing okay. My single targeting fire attacks did most of the damage there. I'm assessing my spell charges here with my Paladin, so I've got up to level 4 magic. The Paladin can use the heal and the holy spells like a priest could, which my cleric actually cannot use the heal. That's the all-targeting healing spells, and the holy, which is of course the all-targeting undead damaging spell. Now this is 2 sandworms and another eye. So I'm going to try to target the eye, because the eye, I feel, is the most threatening in terms of one-hit kills, etc. Sandworms, I'm hoping, are just physical attackers that have some nasty things, so the shield 2 should help me against the sandworms. I don't know if the sandworms in this one have skills like Quake, like some of the worm-type enemies in the vanilla version, I believe, have some skills like Quake, but there's an eye stop attack on Sulla in its first round, so that inflicts a bunch of freezy-type statuses on my Viking. I'm gonna try to hit it with mute to see if I can turn that down a little bit. I'm out of the fire 2 charges, so fire 3 charges. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go with the fire 2. There is the death attack, and it does hit my Viking. My Viking is slain. So there's silence going off. It does not hit the eye anyway, so that would not have stopped the death attack from coming in. So either I missed on the silence, or the eye is immune to the status element. Could be one or both of those things. But Fire 2 does take it out. Thankfully, the eye does not have massive hit points. Again, just like the vanilla version, the eye is usually starts the battle with things like glare and XXXX and rub and all of those nasty things that the eye can use, but its hit points, I believe it has 168 hit points in the vanilla version. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but pretty low hit points. So if your characters are a decent enough level, you can often kill the eye before it even has an action. So that's why so many roots of Final Fantasy I have what they call eye grinding, which is where you can reliably have a battle on every single tile that will yield you pretty good golden experience and will be fairly harmless, as long as you can put a ribbon on the characters in the first couple of spots where it's going to be targeting its rub spells, etc. on those characters in the first 2 slots, which will be immune, barring, by the way, the slightly less than 0.5% chance of everything to land in this game because of the less than or equal to or less than 0 thing where it rolls a number between 1 and 200, but if a 0 is always a hit, that's a very, very oversimplification of it. So you can still land things through a ribbon is what I'm trying to say, and you can still land things on bosses that are supposed to be immune to stuff. For example, the TAS of the solo white mage in the vanilla version has it land 4 or 5 fear spells on chaos and causes the final boss chaos to run away, to flee from the battle and end the game that way. Meanwhile, we're fighting the sandworms here, and the last thing we need to do is just kind of wear their hit points down. We're very well protected. Unfortunately, life, I haven't tried it in this hack, but I assume that the life spell does not work in battle. If I'm incorrect about that, then I'm making very big mistakes as I fight this one, but I'm not wasting an action trying to cast life, because in the vanilla version and all the other ROM hacks I've played, I don't think life works in battle. So the main source of damage, my Viking, has been taken out, but with the Temper Ring helping my Paladin do a bit more damage and just beefing up, I'm able to pick that up. Here is the Floater, surrounded by the robots. Now, of course, if I had a charge of Exit, I could just use Exit, but I'm going to walk up there to that tile, which looks to me like an Exit tile, and sure enough, it is an Exit tile. We are in the desert now, and this is the desert where you normally pick up the airship after you conquer the ice cave, and the airship begins to rise from the desert. There it is, so we'll pick up the airship. There's no music hiccup there. There was a music. Some ROM hacks have a music hiccup right there where it plays the incorrect music. In that spot, it plays the ship music when you first pick up the airship. But that did not happen in this one. We can go back to Crescent Lake, heal up, and get ready for our next adventure. That's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for the next video series where we go up to the northern continent and see what is waiting for us up there. If you liked this video, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button. Please leave me a comment and get in touch with me on Twitter where I am active_ATE. If you think someone you know might enjoy a ROM hack of Final Fantasy I, please share it with them. Get in touch with them. Let them know there is exciting things happening with this game, even here in late 2016 going into 2017. For now, I will be signing off, and we will see you next time for Northern Continent action.